Alrighty, good afternoon folks, it's Jason with the Primal Outdoors channel, and today we are out in the van and we've got ourselves a really nice location to kind of spend a few days in, and I wanted to take the opportunity to go over this diesel heater I got from BougeRV. Now this is actually a portable diesel heater and is meant to be used with, tents, rooftop tents, or any application where you don't necessarily want to physically build a diesel heater into your setup. I've had this diesel heater now for a couple of weeks, and I took it on a 6-night, 7-day trip to Idaho using my Ford truck and my rooftop tent, which really gave me an opportunity to try it out. Because even though, like today, it was very nice and fairly warm, in the nights it got very chilly and below freezing, so especially being in the rooftop tent, having some kind of heating source was very useful. We did have a few nights of rain too, so that gave me the opportunity to see how the diesel heater held up to exposure to wetness. So if you guys are interested in hearing my thoughts on this, definitely stay tuned. Alright, so in full disclosure, BougeRV did send me this diesel heater for review, but I assure you that my opinions about the diesel heater are fully my own. That's the way I do all of my reviews when companies send me a product, is that I always make sure that in the contract that they have no say over my opinion. So very quickly, I do want to go over how a diesel heater works, just so for those people that might be coming to this video and learning about diesel heaters for the first time, whether they're built-in ones or portable ones like this one. Obviously, it does run on diesel, and it has a chamber inside that diesel burns in, and you have an exhaust and an intake that allows you to get air from outside and bring it in. That gets ignited by some glow plugs that are inside the diesel heater, and then that burns, and then that exhausts outside of your habitat. Inside your habitat, you have an intake where air will come in. It will blow air across the heated heat exchanger or the heated element inside where that burn is happening, and then blow warm, dry air in. So all the diesel burning and fumes all happen and get exhausted outside, and then you get, warm, dry air inside that is free of condensation or free of any type of harmful exhaust fumes. Now, I've had experience with diesel heaters for quite a while. I've had experience with built-in ones, and I've also have experience with other portable systems on the market. And this one here, as soon as I started unpackaging it, I noticed a couple of things about it that really impressed me. Alright guys, so I just got this new BougeRV diesel heater out, this portable diesel heater, and already I haven't fired it up yet, so I might be disappointed later, but as of just the way they have it set up, I really like the way they did this. There's a lot of nice thought here. One, the exhaust comes out the side instead of the bottom. Most diesel heaters I've worked with, the exhaust comes out the bottom and the air intake comes out the bottom, and that makes it a little bit challenging to set up. So the fact that they've got this one coming out the side, and it's a screw-on port, so it's a really nice connection, really nice detail there. Another thing that I'm loving is this thing came with an AC outlet, so I can use this around the house, or obviously I don't have a house, I have a shop, but anywhere I have AC power and I just want to run it, I can do that. That's a nice thought. Another nice thought is it did come with a cigarette lighter port. Now it does tell you that it needs a 12 volt port that is capable at least 12.5 amps, which I understand most diesel heaters require like 15 amps just because of the startup, because of the glow plug starting up. Once they get running, they only use like 3 to 4 amps max, but that initial startup can require more. So the one downside to that, and that's not just this one, but any one that I've ever messed with, is your standard like Jackery, Blue Yeti, any of those that have a 12 volt port, those are only 10 amp ports. So just be aware of that needs at least 12.5 amps. But I also like that they gave you another set of cords if you have a battery system in your vehicle, that it gives you a nice set of cords with some ring connectors already on it, so you can just hardwire the unit in somewhere. So that is also a nice thought. So I really like the attention to detail so far. Like I said, we still got to fire it up, we still got to make sure it works, but just these little items here make me very happy. Now the diesel heater itself is controlled from either this front panel here, or you get like a little key fob controller that allows you to turn it on and off and also turn it up or down. But there is also an app that you can download that allows you to not only turn the unit on, but you can also set some settings, and you can set some timers for when you want the diesel heater to either come on or off if you want to automate that. So as I mentioned, these diesel heaters can use quite a bit of power when they are first starting up on the glow plugs. That's why on my particular trip, I did choose to use the wire that came with it that goes to like a bus bar. And then I wired that to my Convolt battery system, and that gave me plenty of power to be able to run the diesel heater. I don't think that most people will find this particular cord very useful because, again, as I mentioned, that most of your portable battery banks are not going to be able to supply enough power to make this useful, because most of those are rated at 10 amps, and to get this thing fired up you're going to be going as high as 12 to 13, 14 amps. So I'm not sure that you would be using this. I do, again, very much like the fact that they did give us an AC option. This would be great. I have another portable diesel heater that I actually use in my office at my shop, so that way I can heat my office during the cold winter months. I think I'm going to be replacing it, and whenever I'm at the shop I'll just use this one because this one comes with a AC power option. That other one did not, and I had to jerry rig something together to make that work. This just makes things very simple. And I think that's the thing that I actually noticed on my trip on this unit. It was just always very simple to use. I didn't have any real problems getting the thing set up. I just set it up on my Diamondback cover. I put in the exhaust vent into my tent for heating the tent. I would screw in the diesel exhaust and then plug it in through my split window, and everything just worked fine. My one concern a little bit is elements, is getting rain on it. Now, like I said, I did use the unit for a couple nights and it poured rain in the night and the unit got extremely wet, but I never had any problems with it. I don't think for the most part that it's going to have any problems with that. I am a little bit concerned that moisture might be able to get into this control panel, and that might be a problem. Another concern that I do have is the connection that goes into the back. This is not a waterproof connection. It's a nice connector, but it's just not a waterproof one. So I do wonder if possibly water could migrate inside and create a short, causing me a problem there. I think that your probably best practice would be to protect the unit in some way from the elements and not let it be exposed directly to rain like I did. I didn't have any problems, like I said, on my trip, but maybe over a course of a long period of doing that, it could cause you some problems down the line. The only thing that you will want to make sure is you will notice that you have here it's a vent, and that's your intake for the diesel burn. You'll want to make sure that that doesn't get blocked off, and of course you want to make sure that your intake here doesn't get blocked off. You also want to make sure that you don't have any super harsh bends or kinks that could block off airflow that could cause problems as well. So maybe just like laying a tote over the top of it might be a good option just to kind of protect it. You could, have all your spare pieces in the tote. You could have the diesel heater in the tote, and then when you have it out, you could just kind of lay the tote over it. I think that would be a good option. But overall, like I said, I found the diesel heater to be very easy to use, and I didn't have any particular problems with it. Now, my biggest complaint when it comes to diesel heaters has always been the amount of noise that's created by the fuel pump. So there's a small fuel pump inside the diesel heater, and that pumps obviously fuel from the tank into the diesel heater to be burned. On a lot of the older diesel heaters, that pump was obnoxiously loud. In fact, the other portable diesel heater that I have, it's ridiculously loud, and I think it a lot of times can be worse in these portable systems because it almost acts like a drum with the casing, and it just, I feel like, amplifies it even more. Now, this particular unit actually surprised me. It was extremely quiet. Alright folks, well, we're just starting to wake up this morning. This is our first night out in the rooftop tent with the new BougeRV diesel heater, and I turned this on probably about midnight last night. It started to get chilly in the tent and decided that I did want to turn it on, and I just have it on low right now. But the first thing that I can tell you that I'm really impressed with is how quiet the pump is, the fuel pump is on this thing. Most diesel heaters that I've used in the past, the pump has been so obnoxiously loud it makes it really hard to sleep through. But this one here, I can hear it, but it's super light. Mostly all I hear is the fan noise from the diesel heater from the blower, and that's actually not bad. Like, I can really, that's more of a white noise, makes it really easy to sleep. So not having that really obnoxious ticking that I've heard from other diesel heaters is really, really nice. Now lastly, I did take the diesel heater case off just to kind of look at the build quality a little bit, and I do like it. I like the fact they used a nice stainless steel on the outside, and I did take it apart, and like I said, it is pretty much a typical built-in style diesel heater. They just built it inside a case the way they have it. So it has the diesel heater inside, a fuel tank inside, and it's just all nicely put together in this case. I don't know that it's anything really super special, but I do, like I said, I kind of like the form factor, specifically when it comes to how they routed the intake and exhaust. So the only thing you really have sticking out of the diesel heater is your vent going into your habitat, and then the exhaust. The intake they actually kept inside the casing, which is nice because that's just one less thing that you have to deal with. And I didn't see any problems with it being like that when I was using it. So another nice feature that this diesel heater has is it does have a couple good, really solid handles. That makes it nice for moving it around. It does have a sight window here for you to be able to monitor how much fuel is in it, but I don't know, it could be my old man eyes. I can never tell by looking inside there how much fuel it is. I find it really hard to see. I try tipping it, shaking it to make the fuel slosh, and I can never see what that looks like. It does look like you can see fuel down all the way around the 1 liter mark, but that's not actually fuel, because I know for a fact right now it has 3 liters or so in the fuel tank. Now, it's not a big deal to me that I can't see that, because quite honestly, it's very easy to see right down through the cap how much fuel you have in the unit, so I didn't really find that a big deal. Now, as far as fuel efficiency is concerned, I ran it only on low. That's all I needed for my rooftop tent to keep it warm. And I ran it for 5 nights on 2 gallons of fuel, running it from about 11 at night until about 8 in the morning. So it seems pretty fuel efficient. If you probably have a bigger space and you have to run it higher, then you might go through more fuel than that, obviously. But for most people running inside a tent or a rooftop tent, I think that you'll find that low is going to be plenty enough to heat that space. Now, one feature that I didn't see on this particular unit was a way to set it based on temperature, so that way it could come on and off based on temperature. I have seen some diesel heaters that have that ability, and admittedly diesel heaters don't do that well because they have to constantly light up the glow plugs and refire and do all that. They're not really super great at it. So being that this is a portable unit and most likely it will be outside, it's probably fine that it doesn't, but just be aware is it's either on or it's off. So you can have it on its lowest setting or its highest setting or somewhere in between, but it's either on or it's off. It's not going to regulate with the temperature inside your habitat. So my biggest complaint with this BougeRV diesel heater is that it runs on diesel. Now, if you're out camping or adventuring in a vehicle that already runs on diesel, that's not going to be a big deal for you because you're probably already bringing extra diesel on hand. So having a diesel heater makes perfect sense. But for me, my pickup runs on unleaded. So ideally, I would rather have a system that runs on unleaded fuel. Now, I know there's some systems out there, but they are fairly expensive, and I know that they are quite a bit more expensive than this particular unit. But if I had my say in it, I would really like to see units that run like this, that have a separate burn chamber, but actually run on propane. I feel like many people that are going out camping are probably running propane for something, for some type of accessory anyways. So having a like 5-gallon propane bottle that could just screw into this and be able to have this run on propane, I think would be a lot better option. And I, in the van, actually have a heating system that's built in that works very similar to this in the fact that it has the burn chamber, everything is intaked and exhausted outside as far as the burn is concerned, and then it's just air being blown over a heat exchanger inside. But I don't see any portable options like that. I only see the diesel heaters, and they are the most prevalent on the market right now. I really think if these companies would start like latching on to propane as an option, that would be a lot better and more versatile for many users. Why don't you guys let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are on that? I really think propane would be a great option. If you're running a gas vehicle and you got propane on hand, would you prefer to have a unleaded version of this, or would you prefer to have a propane version of this? Let me know down in the comments below. Alright folks, so this is going to wrap up my review of the BougeRV portable diesel heater. As you can see, we're having an absolutely gorgeous morning right now, and I have a fantastic view to have my coffee by. But it is getting chilly at night, and I do appreciate having a diesel heater for the colder evenings when I'm out in my rooftop tent. And soon we'll be going into winter where it's going to be cold days and cold nights. And this is actually my favorite time to be out, but having a good heating system is key to making these trips fun and enjoyable. So if you guys think that this heating system would work for your setup, definitely use the link down below. Now, if you have more comments or more questions about this diesel heater, please leave that down below as well, because I will be using this on future trips, and I can see these questions and I can hopefully address them in future videos. Anyhow, you guys, I'm going to get back to this view and my coffee, and we'll catch you guys again outside.